No, I think that there's a problem with the character and the tendencies that we have in leadership. And I'm speaking seriously. If they are not patriarchies, they are oppressors. If they are not oppressors, they lack decency and decorum. If they don't lack decency and decorum, they lack empathy and sympathy. And that's a tragedy of our nation. Very sadly so. From the Senate president and his runs with Natasha and his battles with Natasha, depicting a terrible sense of patriarchy, to the chauvinism that you see in the statements of men in and around power. The patriarchy displayed by Wike, who referred to a seventh senator as one who reads love novels and so does not understand what is happening in Abuja. And then to a sickening tendencies of the sickening tendencies of the Minister of Works regarding the Ohiri matter. He did not only descend to the gutters when he talked about he's not having anything to, oh, if it were Natasha that said, I don't understand how the character and the tendencies of this man. And I told somebody like Wike, like Umahi, like Akpabio, men who disregard and disrespect women, men whose patriarchy is Olympic, men who lack courtesy and scruples. And then when you go to the other extent, you ask yourself, okay, for whatever it's worth, the woman has come out with pictures and photographs of herself and Umahi in Umahi's office whilst he was governor. She's come out with evidence of transactions that they had in time past. And as, what, must you oppress, intimidate, harass and harangue the low? Where lies your sympathy, your emotion, and your empathy? And then to think of the fact that they wanted to abduct her, I want to use the word abduct her from the hospital, bemoans logic. And I think that Mr. President should talk to men around him. If he respects women, then he should tell them to learn to respect women. If he cares about people, he should tell them to learn to respect people. Because it's not only bad enough that we have a government that is lacking in empathy, in sympathy, in concern for the masses. It's worse when you think of the fact that the men around the president and men of power do not care about decency, decorum, do not care about how they appear before our young daughters, how they appear before women. And that's why I think that the time has come for women groups and rights to rise up and defend their kind. We mustn't always be the ones speaking for them. They should rise up. And I was appalled by the fact that there was a female journalist where Wike referred to Ireti Kingibe as someone who reads love novels rather than attend to issues about the FCT. And I'm also appalled with the fact that a woman in a bad shape was going to be abducted under the orders of the seventh Minister of Works. I think the messiness, I think the whole thing about our state and our nation, is sickening. From politics to the character of men of power, from the character of men of power to the fact that some men are happy that they are depleting the rights of the opposition. And so you ask them, what really will you tell posterity? That under you, democracy lost its bite. That under you, a National Assembly leader, the President of the Senate, comes out to pledge loyalty to the President against the provision of a constitution. And you know what, Victor? What will bother you is the fact that in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the legislature comes before the executive and the judiciary. Are you aware?
Yeah, because they are the heartbeat of democracy.
Representatives of the people. They are the ones to call the executive to order. And under Akpabio Senate, the National Assembly pledges loyalty to the executive. That's how sickening and sad this drama is. And I pray for our country.
What does he say of the quality of men around the president?
Bootlickers, court jesters, sycophants, and men lacking scruples. That's who they are. They don't care about posterity. They don't know the street called patriotism. They don't know the boulevard called commitment to common good. They don't care about our nation. And it's sad that our children will read about these men and also wonder what we did. That's how it bothers me, because, and that's why they are gradually and surreptitiously depleting the rights of the people to opposition, depleting the rights of the people to get justice from the courts. Because here, the National Assembly has pledged loyalty to the president. And so has the judiciary. You're aware that never in our history have we seen the judiciary proudly commit itself to the whimsical tendencies of the executives. And sad enough that the minister of the FCT is proudly telling us that he's building houses for magistrate, judges, and the likes. That's how sickening, I repeat, that's how sickening it is. That's how much of a tummy rot we have on our hands.
Some persons have said that in civilized climes, the Minister of Works, having said he has never seen that lady, and now there are empirical data to prove that he's not just seeing, he knows her too well. And then the role that have been played by the Nigerian police in all of this, in civilized crimes, what should have happened by now?
Victor, are they not all liars? Quote me. Are they not all liars? The minister of the FCT will tell you that he did not instruct or he did not decree a public holiday. Did you work in Abuja on the Friday before the FCT elections? That was a public holiday. It was not declared on network by Mr. President. He was the one who announced it. They all lie. They have raised falsehood and perfidy to Olympic heights. It has become an act of state. I just told you, the Minister of Works denied everything about knowledge with knowledge of the Iroele lady. And then facts, photographs, and data has come to contradict it. They lie barefacedly. They lie shamelessly. And that's how much of a tragedy we have on our hands. Men who are lacking in scruples. I say this with every sense of commitment, and it pains me that we have children who are watching where state operators have raised falsehood, perfidy, mendacity, debauchery, and deceit to an act of state, Victor. For them, it's so long as it suits them at that moment. They lie today, they tell another lie tomorrow, and it doesn't bother them. We have had so many lies. And then let me even make you laugh. One of the most sickening, I called somebody the other day and I said, were we not told that the Lagos-Calabar coastal road will be a 6-laner both ways? Have you seen a 3-laner both ways? Oh my God, I don't know how to describe these people. They lie on paper, lie before you and I, lie to their children, and they just don't care. We've never had it this bad. I worry for my future. I worry for the future of our children. I worry for posterity because we're growing children who will look at us in the face and they think that falsehood, lying, and perfidy is honorable. When those who have public trust in other climes, these men should resign and quit office because, like Caesar's wife, a man in leadership should be above board. But unfortunately, they seem to want to outwit each other in falsehood and perfidy. Victor, lying, falsehood, perfidy, debauchery, mendacity, and perfidy has become an act of state under this man of power.
Some persons argue that defamation and cybercrime laws have been weaponized. It's now a very potent weapon in the hands of the leaders. What do you say of it?
Who's scared of facing liars? I think that weaponized against, permit my choice of words, cowards. Victor, in a few days I'll be 55. of my 55 years on earth, I spent close to 9 years in one custody or the other. So perhaps I can pass for a veteran in honorary suffering. And like my mentor, Martin Luther King Jr. would say, honorary suffering is indeed redemptive. I don't care what they say, so long as I stand on the altar of God and truth. They will, I don't tap nobody's phones, but I hear them when they lie. I see them when they lie. I read them when they tell falsehood. Don't forget my series. What is the caption? Of forgery, fakery, and fallacies. That's what they do. They lie against God, against man. They lie to the people and their children. They lie against truth, and they lie to posterity. So, if they like, it's got to be their word against my word. A man denied ever meeting a woman. She has come out with not AI-generated pictures that dates back to when he was a governor. So he's a liar. In other climes, they will ask him to quit office. Then the other one says, I did not declare a public holiday. Mr. President asked me to. I did not declare curfew. We all live in Abuja. They lie shamelessly. And I think that the time has come for the media to speak up and be forthright. Then interestingly, the time has come for the churches that allow them, because I see some of these people in the pew, they talk from their pulpits. They should stop them, knowing that these men lie against God and against mankind. There should be some kind of moral regeneration. If we care about our children, and I wonder what bothers me, and I pity his children. I'm talking clearly now about Wike. Where he goes out to lie, he goes with his sons. And I see them standing behind him. And I say, what kind of future? What kind of future are we creating? And then you see the man who said, that he's a pastor or a deacon, Umahi is of the Christ Embassy. I don't know what, but you remember his story. And then when you see them lie, they even have smiles on their faces. And I've said to maybe they have all sold their soul to the devil. I don't know. But it bothers me.